Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
The following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
This is PBA champion Kyle Troop, and you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. As you know, JP Jr. used to be introduced as the sexiest man in bowling, and now the world. But he doesn't have the best hair in the world. I do. Sorry, bud, but you know the deal. Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation. So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Dr. Ocho. Dr. Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Sorry we are late. We had some We had some technical difficulties, including my own dumbass self. But we are good now. So, without any further delay, let's bring in our first co-host. It is Dr. Ocho. Good evening, Dr. Ocho. Happy technical difficulty. Happy Mardi Gras, buddy.
You're a technical difficulty, Rob. Yes, Mardi Gras, got the mask, got the beads. We're here for a party. And I'll leave it till they throw me out. Whatever that song is. Gretchen Wilson. I know, I just crushed it. Bring him in, Rob. Let's go.
Also joining us is the man with the name on the marquee. He is the sexiest man in the world, Mr. Johnny Petraglia Jr. Good evening, JP.
What's up, guys? I really wish I hadn't known that was a Mardi Gras mask. It really looks just like a brand new mask.
Yeah.
Sensational. Sorry, this evening.
Yeah. We have a very, very special guest tonight, and I want to play a little quick video highlights of his career. All right, here are the career highlights of the PBA Hall of Famer, Danny Wiseman.
And our tournament leaders making his first championship round appearance ever, hometown favorite Danny Wiseman of Baltimore. That's the most sustained cheering that we've heard on the tour for a long time. Give it room, rolls up, tripped out the 4 and not the 10. So Danny Wiseman now realizes that he is the winner. Oh! By the narrowest of margins. Okay, David Ferraro yet to finish, but the tournament leader is ousted by Danny Wiseman. And let's go back to New York now, and there it is for the championship. And Danny Wiseman is the winner, 204 to 200 over John Mazza. $27,000 first prize. Lisa and Danny are celebrating. That's a lot. Prior to last week, Danny's last telecast was April of 1992. And look what he has accomplished. Pat on the back. champion of the Twin Fire Spark Plug Open. With a strike, it'll be 236. And he goes high, finishing with 232. Danny Wiseman is your champion. The Welsh Auditorium appreciates his great bowling. We'll be back to talk with our champion right after this.
Needs to make this fair, and then after he makes this, he's going to need 1 pin. Routine thing. Well, one of Danny's superstitions is that he doesn't look at the scores or watch the opponents. There is the winner. Danny Wiseman has taken the 1998 PBA Oregon Open. We'll be back in a moment.
Yeah, 2 pins, and Danny Wiseman picks up his 8th national championship.
And more frustration for that man, Chris Barnes. There's the title. There's your winner, Danny Wiseman.
What a tremendous shot by Danny Wiseman under the pressure.
Extra 10,000 on the line. He's already won the match.
Oh!
The 2-8 breaks the streak.
Thank you. Great finish for Danny Wiseman. And a nice comeback, especially after what happened last week.
Bidding for a 300 game to wrap up his first ever major. He would also earn a $10,000 bonus from the PBA, in addition to the $100,000. Coming his way with a win. Oh! 10 pin. Oh, he was urging it. 10 pin again for the champion.
That was pretty flat.
Russell not even watching.
A spare and we have a tie.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, Joe.
That's pressure, Rob. That's all that is just an immense amount of pressure. We really got to feel for Joe Ciccone, but that is what pressure does to you.
Danny Wiseman, career title 12, and congratulations to his teammate Michael Fagan winning his first.
Please welcome Danny Wiseman. Good evening, sir.
Wow, that was a trip down memory lane in like 2 minutes. Holy mackerel, that was cool. Good job.
Thank you very much. I put that together special for you because you are a special guest. So,
well, you know what's really cool is I got just about all those balls, all the clothes, of course, all the trophies, sitting in this room and out in my living room. Everything is still in my possession. So, yeah, it's really cool that you guys did that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So
I'm really old now.
Yeah, I mean, we all are, right? But so you have 12 PBA national titles. Can you think of, I don't want to narrow it down to one, but, you know, what were some of your favorites out of all 12? Anything that sticks out?
Well, of course, the first one in Baltimore, hometown crowd. It was only my 17th national I ever bowled.
And your TV debut as well, right?
Yeah, first one. Yep, at the front 8, I think. And a Corvette was on the line. That's always the most special one. The other one, of course, is the Masters in 2004. My first major, only major. I had opportunities at other ones in my career. But that one definitely was cool being in baseball, being in Miller Park, because, you know, I started out playing baseball. Actually, Johnny, we have a story about that with Revolution when you were playing baseball and all that with your dad. But, yeah, I got my baseball glove sitting here when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, and some baseball trophies from my mom kept for me in my trophy room. But, being in Miller Park and just that major net setting was just fabulous. But there's one that I tell everyone, I would trade them all. I would trade them all for the 92 Firestone. And I get emotional because that was the last time my dad ever saw me bowl. He was a great supporter, just like my mom was later. But, when I lost to McDowell, I bowled a great game. Mark McDowell, he finished it up like you're supposed to. I'd trade him off just to win that Firestone Tournament Champions for my dad. So, that's just the way it is. So, but I sit here and I look at this career, and I look at all the trophies and all the patches from when I was a kid, all the plaques, the autograph pictures, which your dad is on my wall. I'm still working on that. It's been a fun ride, man. A lot of work, a lot of time, and just a lot of great people I've met, through down the road and everything. It's just been awesome. I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
Johnny, when did you first meet Danny?
I probably first met Danny, I would say, around the beginning years of the Johnny Petraglia Open. So we'll say when I was 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah, because I made a show in 96, I think I made a show there, 90-something, yeah.
Yeah.
Earlier.
Yeah, you made the show when it was at in Rutgers Athletic Center in 96.
Yeah.
On a fire quantum.
Yeah.
By the way, how cool was the sound? How cool was the sound of the bowling alleys when you were showing them highlights, Rob, of back in the early 90s, the ball hitting the lane and the way that sound, the Chris Schenkel voice of God, and my goodness, that's some goosebump giving yarn right there.
That intro reminded me. I wanted to ask Danny something that I'm actually curious about, because you guys all know that like my bedtime sleeping pill is just turning on an old school bowling show. So last 2 nights ago, I fell asleep watching the show where the highlight only showed the clip of you throwing the powder blue hammer, but I'm pretty sure you started with a black hammer and you were playing the gutter. The sweep said Toyota. You looked like you were in all white. You were in the ladder. And,
that's back here. Yep, correct.
All right. I was watching that show in the highlight reel, and it reminded me of a question I wanted to ask when I watched the show, because on that show, I remember you were always one of the fiercest competitors, always, but especially on television. And when you won that show, you had run the ladder, which brought your television record to that point to 12-1. Right. Now, I know as the years progressed to the mid-90s, you always had the highest winning percentage on tour.
Yep.
You got to a point that you were, say, like 27-8 on television, which is just absolutely unheard of.
I think you're right, until they changed it to 8 on a show.
Right. Yeah. So my question for you is, do you think a lot of your success on television has to do with your personality, in the respect that you have always been a showman, you engage the crowd? Do you feel like you fuel off the emotion of not only doing your job, but producing a show for the fans that are watching you? Is it ever
yes
in your
and
brain?
No, yes and no. I think my mentality early in my career was, just from all the practice and the amount of time that I had to change my game for the early 90s, period of time with urethane and sliding. Most everybody slid when they threw the ball and they rolled through the ball. I didn't do that in the 80s. I hit up on it. So all the work and dedication, I think what it came down to early in my career was, I know in my mind that if I make 12 of the greatest shots I can make, notice 12, not 10, that other guy's got to do the same thing, and he's not going to do it. He doesn't have that ability. Even though that was my mindset. And I think that, I got lucky a few times on TV, and I think there's even an interview somewhere when I was like, I may have been like 9-1 or something, I don't know, 8-0, that I said early on that, one day my fortunes will change, and I will, I'll lose on TV and all that. It's, but I got to 27-9 somehow, and then it was 8 on a show, and you had to beat 2 other guys. That kind of killed my record, but so be it. It was just the period of time. Now, later on, to answer the second part of that, yes. When the new owners bought the PBA out back in, the Microsoft guys back in 2000, they wanted entertainment. And we were all basically, regular collared shirt. And I listened to Metallica and all that stuff. And I wore the flame shirts at that period of time. Kyle Troop might have the great hair now, but I had the greatest mullet and the killer flame shirts.
Yeah, you did.
Damn right.
But,
damn right.
Not even debatable.
So I figured, how can I incorporate that? Well, if you look at back in the 60s, everyone had their name on their shirt. Well, from the 60s, 70s, 80s, nobody had their 90s. No one had their name on their shirt. I think it was in, you can look this up, John. It was either Erie or Canandaigua or something in 1999. I came out with my name on my shirt. Walter Ray said, "You can't do that." I said, "Why not?" He said, "Well, it's not allowed." I said, "Sure it is." I said, "Here's the deal." I said, "People turn the TV on. What do they see? They see your back, right? They're not going to know who you are as the greatest bowler in the world, but they're going to know my name as Wiseman." And then, like 3 months later, everybody had their names on the shirt. So I kind of looked at things in a different way. Like, how can I separate myself from everyone else? Well, the hair, the goofy haircuts, the jewelry, the flame shirts, the leather pants, which they were not leather, by the way, my secret. They were actually slacks that looked like leather because I could never bowl in leather. Cat's out of the bag. But I wanted to separate myself away from everybody. And anybody who wore a flame shirt or something like that, my name came up. And, to this day, everybody asks me, "Where's your flame shirts at?" And, I kind of built a little niche in there, and I could, and I could throw a ball. So, but yeah, it was definitely different early on to later on. I knew the value of the entertainment thing, which is why now, I love seeing guys like Colin Belmo and, anybody who creates excitement and has fun with the fans, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to be robots. That's what it used to be like because it was more prim and proper. That's not today's society. And it's like I tell Dana, I'd love to be bowling out there right now at 30 years old because it's just, it's smaller fields. There's more, the money's pretty good. And it's the entertainment value. That's what today's world is. So, but I kind of had it 25 years ago.
Let me ask you this, Danny, and we've had this conversation on the show before several times. Take your generation of bowlers against today's generation of bowlers. I know the equipment is different, the lanes are different, but which generation would you prefer? Do you think the old guys were the best, or do you think the new guys just have that edge?
But also explain, Rob, because now with the old guys, they had one or two bowling balls.
True.
You had to change your hand, you had to change your grip. The new guys.
Well, hang on. If we're talking Danny's generation, they had more than two bowling balls.
Well, true. But
Danny's not my dad's age.
He had a Lawrence Taylor bowling ball or whatever it was he said. I can't remember what it
was. Hey, by the way, this is on my youth scholarship page, so just so you know, language.
Oh,
just,
to be more fettered tonight.
Heck, we got to be fettered.
For the sake of the children, we will abide. By the request of the guest.
Yeah. I look at it this way. Every generation, any of the greatest could compete in any generation, period. You could take Belmo in the 50s. You could take Don Carter, Dick Weber, your father, move them in. Anybody who was of the greatest, they would adapt, figure out, and be able to compete. End of story. I mean, that's just the way I look at it. Me personally, you look at early in my career with urethane and wood lanes and you look mid-90s, you look late 90s, early 2000s, I made major overhauls to my game, and you could see it in my career to adapt to the environment. I mean, there was major environmental factors in my career, from urethane to early reactive to particle balls, which were they tore up the lane ungodly, and especially we were still bowling on a lot of wood lanes. And then you look at the stronger reactives, and the covers started getting better, bigger cores, then all synthetics, then the oils changed. That whole evolution there. A lot of guys, fell into it in that period of time that I bowled, and a lot of guys fell right out because they did not adapt. And I kind of prided myself on being able to. Even though I lost some time in there, but I always just worked at it. I just looked at it. If I work harder than anybody else, then I'm going to be able to compete. And, I wish my goal was 15 titles, 3 majors. And I didn't achieve that, and that still bothers me this day. But I didn't know also I was going to get rear-ended in Chicago in the fall of 05, and that hardly made any shows after that. So, car wreck. But, it's life. Life is what you're handed, so you make the best of it.
The way you just explained that, Rob, with that signature that you put together in the beginning, that almost detailed kind of exactly what you just described. We saw the highlights, piping the ball a few boards, but you still got under it. And then you're watching, we're watching you on the left side, throwing it,
throwing over the left gutter.
Exactly. And it's still coming back and railing and crushing the pocket. So that's the generation right there.
Them balls are all sitting over here too, by the way. I got every one of them, every title ball.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Danny, a follow-up question here. Talking about generations, the best is always the best of each generation is the best, right? When they implemented sport bowling back in the early 2000s, 2001, we'll say whatever year it was, do you believe that lane conditions, in other words, if you took, let's say, the top 5 prime players of any generation and put them on a house shot, a sports shot, or an old PBA tournament shot, do you think that, I guess my question is, do you think that sport bowling made certain players better and other players worse, or do you think that the best are still the best transitioning from, you feel like
I think the best are always going to be the best. The mentality of it, it's 90% mental. The guy who's the greatest that I've ever seen, and regardless of the size of the field, this and that, I don't care what generation you put him in. He would have probably threw it one-handed back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, but because of the environment, he threw it two-handed, and that's how he grew up. But Belmo, mentally, for what he did and the amount of stress mentally going week to week to week to perform at that level against the greatest of his period of time for all those majors. And it's just unfathomable. I made some shows in majors, the fields were bigger, the talent pool was probably bigger, but he's still bowling against the best players in the world. And he changed game like Mark Roth did. People always say, the two-handed thing. Wait, hold up. I wanted to rip the holes out of the ball like Mark Roth. He changed the game. He was not supposed to last, and he did. He's one of the greatest of ever. That's the same thing Belmo's doing. That's why all these kids are doing it. And if I could do it, 55, I'd love to try it. I know how to do it. I would do it. I would bowl two-handed. But mentally, the greats, and you can go through the time, Don Carter was tough, Dick Weber, you get into your dad, he won a few majors, through the period of time. Mark Roth, Earl Anthony, Pete. Those guys mentally were just, my era, you got Norm and Parker and Walter, and I probably bowled in one of the toughest eras through spanning the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 10s. I think 27 or 28 of the greatest 50 when they did that thing in 08, the top 50 of all time, I think I was 42nd. There was 27 or 28 guys in my generation from the 80s, 90s, 2000s that were in that top 50. So
they sure were.
And I watched them all bowl, and I never got to the level of Norm and Parker and even Belmo, obviously, and the guys. Belmo came out. His first show was in 08 at that summer thing. And I was like, uh-oh, what is this deal? Completely changed the game. So. Getting back to your question, the greatest, they would succeed in no matter what was put in front of them, period. They're just that good.
Now, if you could speculate, Danny, I know Brian Voss has been very, very vocal about.
That's another one. Voss, you could throw him right in that mix too.
Right.
There's so many of them. If I forgot anyone, Amoletto. I watched them guys and I never got to that level.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you're going to say about Voss, I think, is the complete polar opposite mindset of, say, Walter Ray. Like, Walter Ray is 60 and he bowls some two-handed two-handed. Like, he's adapting with the times, and Brian's very vocally against it.
Right.
So it's two people cut from completely different cloths, and it's a progressive thinking against stable thinking. It's and everybody teaches. Is that kind of what you were going at, Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think because I know how I evolved my game to be able to compete in the environment that was in front of me through the 20 years I was out there. I think that the evolution. I don't see. It's not going away, and it hasn't since Oscu was first, and actually before that, the guy in Texas, I think his name. But the environment didn't play for that. But with Belmo, and what he did, the mental part of that, it's just incredible. Just insane what he's accomplished. That's the part that two-handed, one-handed, whatever. There's been great players. Earl Anthony was tough mentally, so. It's just, I think every generation, again, it all comes down to the mental part of it.
Let's get into a couple of questions here from the chat. Frank Testa wants to know, what are you doing now, Danny?
I'm sitting here talking to you guys. I don't know why, but I am because I love bowling.
That's fair.
No,
it's a great answer.
Man, I haven't even posted much on Facebook. I've kind of like disappeared. It just, I bowled a regional at Ryan Schaefer's place in 21 in April. I contacted COVID. A week later, I collapsed the lung. So I was in a hospital.
So you collapsed the lung?
I collapsed the lung from coughing from the pneumonia. So that's
God.
People, I got lucky. I survived. In that period of time, there were some family things going on with Dana's family. I'm not going to get into that, but we had a bad 21. It was much. So, we decided the end of 21, we're getting out of Maryland. I coach kids. I got a lot of them that have scholarships. They're going to college now. They're all older. They've won tons of stuff. Placed well in junior gold. Billy Gass's tournaments they've won. PJBTs, the whole thing. SYCs. And they're all getting older. And I'm like, and we talked about it. It's like, I had my one tournament a year, which I did not have last year because we decided we want to get out of Maryland. So we started looking. I started redoing her entire house last year. We had 2 outside houses. She had a house. I remodeled it. We sold it in June, actually. We were looking in Florida and had some friends down here. And, I got some information. So we ended up finding a place. And we now live in Ormond Beach, Florida. I had to pack up 2 houses. She was working through the whole time after we, sold her house. We bought a house down here, so she moved down here. I still was going back and forth between Maryland, redoing my house. I had 1,140 square foot garage. I now have a 2-car garage. So my Mustangs came down, and the logistical nightmare of last year kept me out of, really bowling. I hardly bowled at all. I started
leagues or anything, or not even a weekly league, beer league, nothing like that.
I was doing so much. I never bowled leagues. I'd sub, up at Perry Hall here and there, but I never bowled leagues. But I didn't bowl. I didn't bowl for 10 months. That was the longest that I think I've never bowled since my wrist surgery back in 15. It was like 8 months. So, but there was so much going on, and we ended up getting everything situated down here. I drove a Penske truck down. She had the one Mustang with 3 cats in it. Her friend took her mom's car down. And then I flew back up, and I had to get my Cobra down here, my other Mustang, and hooked all that up. And then I had to sell my house. It's just been a logistical nightmare. Well, anyway, long story short, we'll get to the bottom line. We're in Ormond Beach now. And I've been working on my trophy room. My mom saved all my trophies. We got the house situated. Everything's good. It was 80 degrees today, and
that makes it worth it right there. Because
absolutely,
it's 35 here.
The beach is 10 minutes away.
Well, I feel like that's a perfect segue into the reason my name is this tonight, because
I can't see it because it's small.
It says critical mass code red.
Oh, I got one. You want to see it?
I want you to show us the trophy room. I want you to show us what you got around there.
Right. I don't know how I'm going to do this because I'll have to stay on screen. Let me just drop this down here. This is going to be, I don't know if you can see that. These are some baseball trophies. There's my glove. And then up here, this is some bowling trophies from the 70s. One of my early towels. I don't know if that shows up, and I'm trying to look at both things here. And then we just come up to all my patches.
Wow.
From when I was a kid. And then plaques and, trophy. I'm going to back up here. This is my first 300. I got a trophy. This guy gave me a trophy when I shot my first 300. I was the first kid in Maryland, which, let me see if I can zoom in on this.
If you tilt the phone sideways, we'll get a better view at this point.
Probably. Let me try that. Yeah. Let me do that.
There we go.
All right, let me do that.
Now we're cooking.
Perfect. Yeah, we're cooking now.
Now I can see it if I don't drop the bag on things. So, yeah. Now I can do it.
There we go. So look at that view.
Hey, I know the guy on that ball.
Yeah, that right there was... it's funny is I don't even know if I can do it, but I think my thumb still goes in this thing. Look.
Yep.
That's fantastic. Meanwhile, does that thumb hole look like a crater to anybody else?
It looks like a meteorite landed on it.
You know, I used to bowl like 100 games a week or something when I was that young, you know. But so no, that's good.
New skin, did they?
Oh no, I don't know. I just used to bleed. There's all these plaques and stuff, and then down here is this is my 844 with a black knight, I think it is. I'm trying to do this upside down now. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm messing this all up. So, and then here, this is a ball that our beloved friend, rest in peace, my hero, Mark Ross, signed to me.
Wow.
I have that in here.
Ironically, while you're there, Danny, that ball, guys, that was the ball that if you made it into the match play round at the 2010 Mark Roth Plastic Ball Championship in Babylon, each player got 2 of those. So it was actually the week that I made it out of the PTQ and made it into match play. I just missed the show by about 90 pins. So I still have the 2 that I used in that tournament of that ball right there.
And on top of it says to Danny, your friend Mark, I think it says to a great bowler, and it's fading off because it's in silver. Your friend Mark Roth.
That's so cool.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
So
super prized possession there.
This goes back to local stuff when I was a kid, and then I got all my saved my Lennard, whatever the hell it's called, from the PBA. And then we come around here, and there's the Kessler check. The Fairlanes check is up top. That's the Kessler trophy right there with a program from that. This is the one.
I see a fire quantum.
Oh, you'll see a lot of stuff in here. If I can. So this is the one.
You guys don't understand. This is like the greatest thing ever for me because Danny's always been one of my idols, not only the bowling, but the clothes and the cars and everything.
Well, see that there?
So
that's the Firestone that I wish that, and this is the ball. Oh my God! That's the ball right there. I think I got it marked on there, Firestone. That's the actual ball. But let me turn this phone a little bit.
You threw the blue hammer for quite a while. You won a couple tournaments, man.
First 4 years. I mean, there's all these balls right here. I mean, this is the Firestone. I don't know which one this one's from. This was this is Riverside. No, what's that say on there? This was a Jersey show, Long Island. I think I finished third. This was a Kessler show right there. That's one of the ones I used on TV. That's the trophy for it. Sorry, almost dropped my phone.
I love how apologetic you are.
There's all the Revolution balls I made shows with.
Oh, man. I loved the Revolution equipment.
There's a pink hammer back there, which was my spare ball in that Riverside show.
Yeah.
That's the Kessler trophy.
So cool.
And then you go this way, and there's Toyota, that show you're talking about, the black hammer.
There she is.
Right there.
Yeah, that was 91 Toyota Classic.
91, yeah. The trophy's actually outside in the case because it was a crystal. This is what is this one? This is Seattle. I'm trying to do this. That's Seattle down there.
Seattle was 91 as well.
Yep. And then this is Toyota, 91. Then we get up to the Great Lakes with the old Fire Quantums.
Great Lakes was 95.
And there's your Code Red right there.
There she is.
It's all split. It's split in half, man. And then, of course, we got...
That's a nice split on that bad boy.
We got... Oh, my God. Yeah, there's the... You remember that one.
Like it was yesterday.
Yep.
I had my hair streaked blonde because I thought it was badass.
Yeah, well, I got that one there, and then we go the Columbia 300 Open. Like I said, all those things you did at the intro, and here we go. There, let's see, let me get this in here. There's the 2 Revolution balls. If you remember, I used 2 different balls.
And the shirt.
Yeah, the Rebel ECX on one lane, and and I think the Revolution
they were both
is
ECXs. And then I used a signature ball, I think. One of them was a signature ball, which I don't have that one. But
that was the black Danny Wiseman Pro Series one?
Yeah, it's right here. I got one of them.
That ball.
It's all cracked. But I've got 4 of them undrilled. They're 16.
Wow.
But there's awesome. Oregon from, let me see, where am I at? Oregon from 96. Where's it at? Right there. Mm-hmm. And then this is the Johnny Petraglia, which there's some pictures in here somewhere. Let me see if I can pull this thing out of here. If I can get this in here. There it is.
Nice.
I didn't make that picture, but my sister did. My sister's all the way on the left, guys.
Right? You didn't make that one. Why weren't you in this?
I was probably trying to steal beer out of the bar.
There's the pants. There's the pants.
That's awesome.
You know what's so funny, dude, is I started hunting for red, blue, green colored dress pants. And when I was at Carolier, a couple of guys I bowled with, one's name was Fella, Prasanto, goes by Fella, and this other guy's name was Chewy. And they used to tell me to go up to Burlington Coat Factory and get the suit separates there because they always had a great selection. So that's where I used to. My pants were so baggy, but I always wanted at least different colored bottoms ever since you started rocking.
Well, I got the red pants that I wore on the Firestone. I actually wore them when I won the Miller High Life. This ball's all split and cracked. It's the hell is that? The Blaze, and that's the Eraser. And then above it is the ball I used on the right lane, the Trauma. And then the trophy, and then the top 5 signed these. And then my last show, which was with Fagan, his first title. This is not the ball. I don't have the title ball, but this is my last show ball when I lost the Masters of John Knoll, and this is one of them that I used. So I've got
an original cell.
That's an original cell. I threw out 2 other ones that were. I mean, this thing is just lit up. I mean, it's split. Wow. I mean, it's split everywhere. So, but I kept it, just because I knew it was, my last show, actually. And then over here is just some stuff from Japan. I've got a Kessler thing that's pretty neat. And then these are like show shirts. Don't ask me why I saved all this stuff, but these are like shirts. So this is like from Japan, the Revolution
so
shirt.
Cool, dude.
And I got like all these old shirts. Even we can go back to, let me see if I can get this on here.
I bet some people are kicking themselves for not saving their stuff,
Well, check this out. This is the youth games. We used to have a thing called the United States Youth Games. This is from 1981.
What?
Okay?
Oh, God.
Let me move this out of the way.
I've got a Scorpions World Tour 84 shirt. That's the most vintage shirt I've got.
This is 1981, okay? Yeah, I heard that. And then I got it from 82, right? And some of my early league shirts are in here. Let me move. I'm stepping on stuff. Some of my early league shirts are like my name's on the back.
That was fantastic.
That is so cool.
That one. And then the travel league shirt. Look at this thing. I don't even know how the hell I got it. It's
Average
just
Joe's Gymnasium.
My mom saved all this stuff. God bless her. I mean, it's just look at this one. The Junior Bowlers Tour, Brunswick Recreation Center with my name on the back. But what's funny about this youth game stuff, right?
Yeah,
I've got the medals. These medals.
Get out of here.
These medals are from. I never won it. I finished like second, third. Tony Walton beat me one year. I've got the medals from when I bowled it. I mean, it's insane. I mean, it's like walking in a damn Smithsonian or Wiseman or something. I don't know. And then we got
the original Millionaires Club poster.
Yeah, wow. All signed.
Oh my God!
It's all signed. I'm working on this. I got to get. Norm sent me a picture. Whatever. I got a thing from Roth that he signed a book for me. So I made that. Had that made. And I've got some new and old Dick Weber stuff. These are just old pictures that are signed. It came out of an old pro shop, but everything else is signed.
Yeah, there's Dad in 71 at the TC.
Yep. Says
sideburns came with the glasses.
Says Danny, all my best to a good friend, Johnny Petraglia, Carmen, and then up there's. So I'm going to get Parker and Amaletto and a couple other guys, probably Jason Couch and Tommy Jones. I'm hoping, just guys that I bowled against throughout the years.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, and then I got like a little collage, which I'm gonna of my history. So it's kind of, I'm still working on some stuff. I got some things I got to do, and somewhere in here you'll like this, Johnny. There's. Let me see if I can get this on here. This is a LT48 gold from 19. Why did I lose your? I don't hear you, Johnny.
I'm muted. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. This is 19. I think it's 98. I shot 877 at Taylor Lanes.
Wow.
And I got two of them. One of them's cracked. I don't know which one I shot it with. But anyway, so here's a little fun fact. All the bowling balls over the years that we drilled on tour, right? Which would be, oh my gosh. I mean, I used to drill like, I mean, it was crazy. So my buddy, I gave him a ball when his brother was bowling. In his basement, he found it. It is a True Star 300. Okay.
My goodness.
What?
It was the second bowling ball I ever owned. My mom got this drilled for me at I think it was Two Guys or Kmart or something. And he had this ball. It's like 10 pounds. No, my thumb does not go in it now. But
whoa.
The second bowling ball I ever owned. And I've drilled a gazillion.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, it's just, thanks for letting me share that. I've been like putting this thing together and all the stuff that went into this. It's just been
thank you for
a lot of work, man. A lot of work going through all these totes and everything that I had that, I mean, there's stuff over here that there's like binders. I don't know if you can see these.
Yep.
See these binders?
Yeah, what are those?
So my mom made these up, and what she would do was newspaper articles early on, and then printouts on the computer. She would print out every tournament, even if I cashed. They're all in there. My entire history's in everything.
Your mom is awesome. I'm telling you.
And of course, she left me little notes. So of course, as I'm going through it, I'm losing it. It was tough, and it's like from the beginning. I mean, she kind of knew that. Where was baseball, which ended when I was 12, but she knew that. She just knew that I was going to do okay at this because I just loved it.
Well, God bless her for saving all that, man. I mean, that's just. I feel like a little kid. Like I know Johnny does too. Just like looking at all the memories, like stuff that we watched you do. It's pretty remarkable.
I got it all.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's all.
Thank you for letting us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I did this I never had a trophy room. My mom had most of my stuff at her house before she passed away. When she passed away, I moved it all over to my house, which basically I didn't stay in because I was up in Abingdon with Dana. But I was back and forth, my cars and drill press and all that drill and stuff. I mean, I was down there, but it was just in a room. It wasn't set up. And I told Dana, I said, when we move, I am building a trophy room. And honestly, I got a closet over here. It's got a whole bunch of stuff in it that I can't put up in here because I got so much stuff. So this is my whole entire history. Everybody,
it's a testament to.
It's your career right there. We got to go. We got to build up one floor up.
It's my life.
Yeah,
it sure is. I mean, that's absolutely awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
JP had said something on a previous show that if it wasn't for bowling, he would pretty much not have. I don't want to say not have anything. I don't mean it like that. I mean like everything that's gone for him is due to bowling and any connection he made, everything. And it's we're watching this right now. As your career progressed, this is what you got from bowling. You made a life, an entire life from this sport. Yeah. Skill. I
mean, I can't imagine if I would have won 30 titles, I'd be in another house.
Right.
Because I'm out of room now. I need another room. And Dana went, no. I mean, I've got stuff in the living room, which, I could walk out there. I'd probably, let me see if I can do that. Because I put this stuff out there because this is completely different. Let me see if I can do this.
I think
for now with an atta baby.
The oldest thing I have is like my JBT jacket from like '87.
We got the hallway here, which that's the master.
Plenty of room.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is
I was curious where the Masters check was.
The Masters. This is my Hall of Fame stuff. Maryland State, USBC, Maryland State Athletic, and then let me see over here.
By the way, John Mazza must have hated losing, like seeing you, like
I was gonna say,
you whooped you whooped him twice on TV.
Yes, the Mazza killer.
So this is the Masters corner right here, and there's the Masters trophy.
You have to start charging admission to get into this thing here. This is gonna be like
it's the Danny Wiseman Hall of Fame.
You're gonna walk down to Cooperstown or something.
Danny, what was it? This is the first title, and actually, this is the. I'm sorry, it's shaky. I'm looking at this upside down. So that is the ball of Fairlane's Open. I don't know if you can read that. I can't see now.
1994.
So that's the actual
ironically,
ball.
Danny, that's Dad's birthday, March 3rd.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. That's what it says, right? March 3rd, 1990?
Yes.
Well, he wasn't born in 1990, but yes, it is March 3rd.
No way.
That is Dad's birthday.
So we have another connection we just learned about 40 years later. That's the trophy. And then that's the Masters ball. In there with...
Is that a Moritz Ravage? Of course.
That is correct. And then the magazines and, all this stuff it's crazy, the stuff that I accumulated and saved.
Danny, while you're in Masters corner, what was it like bowling on bowling lanes inside of Miller Park?
It was cold. It was 55 degrees.
Really?
It was cold. I'm serious. It was like, I was like, wow.
So does that mess with your approaches and your finger grips and everything too?
Oh, yeah.
Or like,
it was just it was cold, and the other thing was because the ceiling was so high, and you know this, Johnny, you bowl on a ceiling that's low ceiling, it seems like you're throwing a ball 100 mile an hour. When you bowl on a high ceiling place, it seems like it takes forever, right?
Exactly. That was why.
Well, now I got
swear to God, Danny,
way up there.
I swear to God, when I bowl in the South Point Plaza, my ball travels half speed. So I always envision in the arenas it would go like a third of the speed. I can't imagine with no ceiling. That's big. It's like just crawling.
It was the visual was like it was so. It was just weird. It took a while to adjust to that because like, is my ball ever going to get down there? And then you got to obviously read the pattern and everything that's going on
and you almost threw a 300 anyway, regardless.
Yeah, if I would have moved two left, I probably would have. But I didn't know what Patrick was bowling. I had no idea. I didn't watch the score. Yeah. I didn't know he was bowling 180. I would have moved two left. I knew it was hitting the pocket, and I was going to either 4-pin or flag 10. If I moved two left, who knows? I might have shot 300, but I don't care. I won.
Yeah, you did.
So you really don't look at the other score at all? Like you don't just to get an idea?
I never paid attention to it. I just bowled. But this right here is like, I don't know if I can get in here. These are like the Hall of Fame rings, early PBA 300 rings.
Cool.
A high school ring.
Even has his high school ring.
Yeah. Well, it's
he's not going to say the year. He's not going to say the year. That's all.
85.
Oh.
I was
his age.
It was an accomplishment.
That's awesome.
But I got that, and this is kind of neat. Again, I saved all kind of stuff. I'm trying to get in here without messing things up.
To everybody in the chat, we're going to answer questions here after the tour. But we have a lot of
PBA stuff. I saved like all my membership cards. The Tony Reyes Trophy right there for the community service. Community service, that's really important. That belongs in here because Tony was such a great guy, and doing that with my youth tournament and everything. I was very surprised with that. My good friend back home nominated me, Dr. Leo Menendez.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was very special. When you get over here, let me see if I can get this in here. So I saved I've got stuff from when I was a kid, 300 rings. I don't have them all, but I got some of them 800 series stuff. Just stuff that I found. And, there's my last title with Fagan. And then the USBC Hall of Fame, some of my mom and dad stuff. There's another picture of the Johnny Petraglia back there. That's the St. Louis trophy right there, because it's crystal. And then some bag tags I had from a long time ago.
Gotta look at those old PBA bag tags.
Yeah, dude.
Bag tag.
This was the PBA 50th trophy for on the top of the top 50. What else we got here? Of course, the Hall of Fame stuff. And down below here, this is kind of neat. I gotta pop this from the bottom. So the Firestone stuff.
Oh, by the way, Dana is watching. She said all the Masters
She's in
stuff
the other room.
in the living room. She said
she went in the other room and she's watching this and she's probably like, "You're an idiot."
I just realized she was in the chat.
She's great. That's she got to live with this stuff every day, so she knows.
Right.
So this is all. So my buddy Mike Malone, he sent me a nice little gift. See that Riviera? That was on the top of the bar returns. He got it back before AMF bought it, when they were going to close it. And this thing was across the bar returns. I'm like, that'll look really good in my, I've got like the early 90s stuff from the press guides and the cups they gave us, and then some of the Brunswick stuff. And then the bottom is the PBA 50th.
Wow.
What an absolutely awesome collection. What a display. What a like absolute.
It's a shrine. It's a life. It's a life.
This is all signed by all the living guys in 08. Everybody. I've got like 2 books. My mom had one. I've had one signed for her, and I had one signed. All the guys that were there at that PBA 50th, it's all signed. And then there's an early picture of me from Baltimore, the Hall of Fame from Maryland, PBA 50th stuff. I even got a napkin with that one there and a patch.
Hey, Danny.
Yeah.
We got a message from Dana. It says we got to get to questions because you'll talk till 2 a.m. Is that true?
Yes.
That's West Coast time.
And hello, Jack and George.
She's in there laughing.
Good to see you, my friend.
That's so cool.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you for showing us the Danny Wiseman Hall of Fame.
You.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? Not too many people are going to be seeing it unless they visit me. So now everybody knows.
There you go.
Yeah, I got a reason
She's telling me to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. We'll stop by next week. I love Florida.
We got that thing too.
Mike. Oh, wow, that's cool.
What's up, Mike?
That's USBC Hall of Fame banner. So anyway, I'm back in my trophy room. All right, hold on. I'm dropping the phone.
Good, Rob. What Mikey said here.
Yeah, Danny. Mike McGlynn wants to know. He said, "Hey, Danny, I bought a drilled Scandal off of you a long time ago and bowled 765 with it. You're one of his favorite bowlers of all time.
Send it back. I can't teach 700 anymore. I lost all you guys. Where are you at? I only see me. Hold on, man.
Tilt your phone back the other way again. Maybe we'll come back.
This is fantastic.
There we go.
Oh, there it is. Okay, gotcha. All right. Sorry, I'm being
Brandon Fennell
was absolutely right.
Fennell.
Brandon Fennell wants to know.
His last name is Fennell.
Shut up, Ocho. Do you honestly think bowling is heading in the right direction? How in the world can you win $25,000 back in the 90s and win $25,000 today and survive?
I don't know.
This is what we can here.
I can only hope that your top level guys are doing well with the industry and the companies that they work for, and they're being taken care of that way, and they're promoting the sport in the right manner to get it out there, because it's such a hard sell. It always has been, but I think it's never going to go away. It's going to go through its ebbs and flows, which it has. I mean, that Columbia 300 in 2000 was $18,000 I won. I didn't care about the money.
Yeah.
I wanted to win. I didn't care about the $100,000. I wanted to win. My goal was to win titles, not bowl for incentives, not for. So today, I don't know how it's structured, because I've been out of it since. My last time I really bowled was 12, and I don't know the last decade how companies have structured things for their guys, and I can only see what I see on TV and from the guys that I talk to, and I don't get into business with them because it's none of my business. I'm actually a fan now. I'm a fan. I watch these guys and I learn from them, and then I work with kids. That's just how it is.
By the way, Mike McGlynn said it cracked, so he
you can't have it back.
You can have it back, but you can't use
it's just two separate packages, probably.
Or actually, it would probably look great on Danny's wall with the other.
That'll be another one. Yeah,
true.
Someone else shot 760 with it, but it's up in your trophy room.
Derek Michaud wants to know, Dan, do you still have the ball you shot 266 on June 20th, 1999 in Reno?
I know what ball that is. That was that Pink Revolution ball, right?
Smart.
Isn't that Pink Revolution ball? It had the PBA emblem on it?
Which one was it? Is that the one where Mike Miller shot 300 at me?
Yeah. You were wearing the navy pants with the white and blue Revolution shirt, and you were throwing that Pink Revolution ball had the PBA logo on it.
We didn't tell you that we had Rain Man.
I saw it on the wall earlier. I think I saw it.
Wapner,
I think I
definitely
saw
Wapner.
it.
Definitely.
I think I saw it on the wall.
Definitely Wapner.
Earlier.
I know I got
in Florida, where you chuck
I'm getting my water. I think it's probably over there. Yeah, it might be. I mean, I've got 3 Revolution balls over there, so that might be one of them. I got to look it up, trying to look at these things on YouTube and see what ball, where the pin position was at and all that. I don't remember.
Or just text Johnny. He'll tell you.
Yeah, he knows everything. Yeah.
Freaking Rain Man with this noise.
I know. Between you and PA.
I'm fanboying.
Yeah, no, you are.
I mean, you guys got to
get
remember that. I idolized Danny in like the best years of my life. I was a teenager. I was a teenager into my early mid-20s.
Like finding out who you were impressionable, and like this is.
And you played baseball. And
it was
what
the
happened?
perfect mix of like fatherly advice, but I could also hang out with him, and he was badass. So yeah, of course I'm fanboying.
Thank
I
you.
know
That
all
was
of it.
cool. And what happened with how did the Revolution thing come about? You remember, what were you doing? You were playing baseball in Maryland, and your dad wanted to talk to me. He says, we got this new deal coming about. This was in July of 1998. And he says, look, you're the guy for this. I said, okay, fill me in. What are we looking at here? So we sat down, knocked out some numbers, knocked out some thoughts and ideas and what they wanted from me and Brunswick and Chip Zelke was ahead of it. He was working for Brunswick and Ray Edwards, God bless him, he developed the balls and Chip did, and boom, Revolution was on the map for 4 years until, of course, the industry and the financial stuff happened in 2002. But yeah, man, I mean them balls were. They were unbelievable. I mean, a lot of shows.
They were really, really, really good. They
really
were
good.
really,
and that was.
And ironically,
what was messed up about it, nobody else could throw them balls except for me. I don't know how that worked. Have no idea. I'm guilty. I admit it. How they worked that out, I don't know. But it was Power Coil 18, which was the same thing that was on the zones. They tweaked them with pearls. The cores were just a little bit different. They weren't much different than the Brunswick balls they were putting out. But the logos were different. I don't know how that all came about, what arm was twisted. All I did was I signed a deal and I bowled. That was it.
I remember talking to Dad on that drive to Maryland about the Revolution, and him always constantly asked, like you were always the best person for the job of trying to bring in this new pizzazz into this already. It was such a great thing. I wish it was still here. Unfortunately, it's not. Maybe we'll bring back Revolution. We got enough other brands now. Shit.
Oh, I know.
It's the 9th one or eighth one.
Well, I got to hold on a minute. Hang on.
Yes.
I might even have it somewhere.
Anyway, thanks to everybody for being here so far tonight.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure having a star-studded legend in the booth with us. And
I'm always here every week. What are you talking about?
Well, that's why I'm thanking you publicly right now. I haven't had the opportunity to do it prior.
Hey, you guys.
This will not be on the wall. I don't know if you can see that.
What am I looking at?
Oh, is that
that's the Revolution poster.
That's the poster.
My God.
It's a guy in a black leather jacket. It wasn't me, but that is the Revolution poster.
That is so cool.
Oh, man, they were so great. The Pro Series DW had a little bit of glitter in the cover. So the black glitter in the cover of a resin ball with that orange. My God, ball was so sick. And he's got a nice signature. I think that's what made that ball so good. Oh, my God, you have a blank one?
I have 4 of them. I found them.
Oh, yeah, you told me 16s, right?
Yeah,
he has such...
If there were 15s, I'd draw one.
I think I just heard.
This is right here to all of our people listening. This is the importance of if you don't know how to, if they don't teach cursive anymore, that's one thing.
True.
But you got to learn how to sign your name like that.
Yes.
Because
Thank
if
you.
Danny's signature
That's artistic right there.
Look like me topless, then nobody would have bought the bowling ball. But the fact that he has a beautiful signature makes this ball even more beautiful.
Well, your dad had one, and you know the best. I learned that a long time ago. There it is. There's the R. I learned that a long time ago. But if you see my regular writing, I can't write at all. And what was it?
I didn't know it had a Rebel stamp on the Pro Series.
Yeah, these are 16s, man. Listen.
Wow.
Still sticky.
It's crazy how sticky they still are. And that's when the shells were a lot deeper. They had
This
at
is
least an inch and a half shell.
Well, this is the deal. I told them I wanted powerful 18 with mica. Nobody used mica back then. And they put it in it. And it was, I found a picture in here. Look at that.
I know the first time that Brunswick tried to do the mica bite technology was in those attack zones. Remember those, Danny?
Yes, correct.
Those mica reactors?
There's the core. That's the insert in the. I mean, it was almost a quantum core if you look at it.
Yeah, that's actually what I thought it was at first.
Yeah, it's very similar.
And ironically, the other ball you showed us earlier, the LT48 Gold, that was, I believe, Power Coil 18 cover with a Rhino Pro LE core. Which is another awesome combo.
I think one of them, the Pearl had mic in it too, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know.
You know, it's funny, Danny. I still throw a teal Rhino Pro and the forest green Quantum that I've had since, I don't even know, 90.
Just not in a bowling alley,
93, 94. Like, the teal Rhino I got from Ricky Ward for working the PBA truck. 'Cause I told you when I introduced myself, Bradley Bowl was my home house in Windsor Locks, Connecticut. And I worked. I helped.
Wow.
Yep, I helped work on the truck, and I got Ricky Ward's ball, and then I won the Quantum in a raffle.
Why didn't you get mine? I made the show there. Why didn't you get mine? 95. No.
That's right. The Tums Classic.
Tums Classic.
What ball did I use? That ball sitting right behind my shoulder. Same ball.
You know, Danny, that's like it's like a entertainment center now. There's like 3 or 4 VIP lanes, and it's just. It's another one of those that have gone by the wayside, and that was a stop for 30 years on the PBA tour.
Easy,
you know,
easy. That place was.
That was something else we've discussed too, like with Bolero, I think is the company, and you know, overtaking like these bowling alleys, even these mom and pop places that used to be tour stops, and now it seems like they're pushing the entertainment, but they're forgetting about the bowling part of it, though. It seems.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a touchy one there because they, whatever their business strategy is, they're going to feel that that's what they're going to do because
that's our conclusion. Yeah,
they own it. They own the PBA, and they own. It's like, I just hope for the guys' sake that bowl for a living that. They take care of them and it goes in a positive direction, which so far it's been pretty good,
Yeah, we're at a wait and see, basically, is really, there's no true conclusion yet. And we said, maybe they know something we don't. I mean, they're obviously smart businessmen. So,
absolutely.
Most people are more purists. Like you said, remember it was prim and proper back then. The suits are in the audience, the proprietor, but again, it was still so classy. The broadcast and the elements to it, the sounds. It was magical, and maybe that probably wouldn't even fly nowadays. So who knows? But that worked. That worked for sure.
Well, go back and watch. I was watching like you, Johnny. I go back and I get lost in a rabbit hole. And I start clicking on things. Well, I found a 1962 championship bowling, Carmen Salvino versus Dick Weber. And they're in white. They're all, they're throwing their hard rubber ball mode, whatever. They're actually hooking a little bit. I think Dick was playing third arrow on the show. I'm like, what? And they turn to the crowd, and they're all just dressed to the nines, man. I mean, it was
cigars out of their mouth and everything.
Different era. I'm sorry I had a part of changing it into the, the mullets and the leather. And
but you blended, though. That's
the debauchery of it.
Like you said, you came across the toughest crop at the time, but you got to you literally got to be in the transition, a testament to being able to adapt for one, but even to just be out there at that time. I mean, where such change was taking place. So you got all aspects of it. So you truly have a firsthand look rather than what you've seen. You were there, you got the whole look of it.
Yep. And I mean, I look back to guys like, look at Ernie Schlegel on 76 when he wore the red, white, and blue, outfit. And before him, Barry Asher, he wore some crazy, one of my heroes, Barry Asher, he wore some crazy clothes. I think he had some jeans with some, I don't know what the heck it was. He showed them to me. It was weird, but it was 60s, 70s. And then you get into now, and you look at Kyle and all the outfits, but I was right in the middle there. I had part of that change and separating from, and you look early in my career, and I was a dork. I had glasses. I just bowled. I wasn't very, very exciting. But I learned this. If you want to separate yourself, you have to do something. Something different. But yet be able to bowl.
Mike Malone says Taylor Lanes is now a church.
And I love that Mike Malone has an Akron Arrows pip for his picture.
Yes, he does.
Fantastic.
And he's the one who sent me the Riviera ball return thing from the ball.
That's right. That's right.
There you go.
Mike, my buddy Mike. I've known him forever.
How cool.
Yeah, that's cool. He must have, I don't know if he saw it or not, but thanks, Mike. It got showcased.
Danny, I'm going to ask you a question that I ask everybody, and I know it's almost impossible to answer, but everybody's answer is always different. Do you have a favorite bowling ball of all time and a most despised bowling ball of all time?
Well, like I always tell the people and the kids that I work with, the bowling ball is just a tool. You have to have the ability to see the lane, and it tells you what to do physically. The ball becomes a tool. So any of my favorite balls would be, Blue Hammers back in the day, some of the Revolution balls. I never really had, I have a benchmark, what they say, ball throughout the years, that's always changed as the environment changed. But I never really, had a favorite, whatever I thought was necessary that I could win with. As far as balls that I didn't like, I use a black diamond at Spares. I have forever. I was before Walter Ray, even though he gets the accolades for it. But I have a black diamond from 1970 that I've used. Actually, the 15 came off the rack at Taylor Lanes, and I asked Aaron, who was one of the proprietors, if I could buy that. She said, "No, just take it." This was back this is when I went to 15 back in the late 90s. I tried 15s, but I kept that. Before that, I had a 16-pounder. But any plastic ball that I used throughout the years and Miss Spares, I hated them. I always wanted to throw rubber. That's how I wanted to see black, because black, you see the shadow. Anything that's swirly and this and that, anything that's got yellow or white in it, even today, I do despise that, because I can't read the shape of the ball. So
that's what I want to know.
That's just me. I can't throw a white spare ball. It's you see the shadow. It's proven. Your eyes cannot pick up the speed of the ball. You see the shadow. So solid bowling balls and anything that's dark, all that. There's a lady from back home right there. Yeah, I miss everybody in Portland too. Oh gosh, I had some great families up there that supported me. Kenny Tall, ask him how his cornhole game's coming. It ain't. Haven't played. I got 20 sets of different bags like bowling balls, and we haven't had time to play since a little bit here and there, but no cornhole right now, Kenny Tall. What's that say? What did McDowell say after that match? Oh, man. Yeah, he hugged my dad. I remember that. Mark was a fan. He's a fantastic guy. I haven't been in touch with him for a while, but I don't know what he said, because that moment was just a fog. I do remember him hugging my dad. I don't know what he said to him. But that was that was a tough loss, Still, I just.
Well, you said you trade all of them in for that one. You would trade all your wins, all your accolades for that one.
My dad and my mom were my biggest supporters after I lost my dad in '92. I was 24 years old when he passed, so he never got to see. Luckily, he got to see me win a couple, 4 titles. And then my mom.
That's hard as a 24-year-old. Not even regardless of where. That's just Jesus. That's a.
Well, I was
that's a tough pill to swallow.
4 titles in 2 years against 160-man fields, and the majors were 300, 400, 500 people. I mean, back then, heck, when I won the Masters, I think it was 560 or 580 entries or something. It was stupid. I mean, it was crazy back then, the majors. But yeah, I would trade them all in if I could have won that for my dad. So
a special hello from my Nationals doubles partner, Steph.
Oh, hi, Steph. Yeah. Wow. Everybody back east.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any regrets, Danny? Other than the Firestone, obviously, but I mean that's out of your control.
Yeah, I mean obviously that one. Yeah, I mean, I missed a couple spares on. I mean, I put Brian Goebel in the Hall of Fame because he won the Medford Open. I missed the 10-pin, probably the first one I missed all week. And on a short pattern, 35. Same thing in Baltimore in 06. Sean Rash won his, I think, second title. I missed a 10-pin. That was probably, and I always spares. That's why I was able to be pretty successful. I was a okay spare shooter, and those were the disappointments when you stupid stuff like that on TV. I mean, but then you realize, hey, you're human. Things are going to happen. You make mistakes. You move on. You're always as good as your last event, and I always try to just succeed at my craft. And
you mentioned short patterns. Was that your forte? Were you a fan of those? No, okay.
Nothing. Didn't matter. Put it out there. I'll figure it out.
And you'll figure it out. You'll hit the pocket.
I love it.
That's exactly right.
I love the confidence.
I never cared what was out there in front of me. It's my job to figure it out. What's that lane tell me to do? What's everybody else doing that I need to figure out because of transition? Well, it was urethane era, particle, early react, whatever. I mean, just figure it out. I mean, that's how my mentality.
So your approach stayed the same through this whole transition too. That sounds like
no.
Not just it sounded like you were just figured out, and that changed too. Then I guess with the patterns and
through the years,
balls and okay.
Yeah, everything changed. I mean, it just whatever I was doing and whatever lane. Yeah, didn't care what pattern was out there.
Johnny, before I get to your question, we've also mentioned this on the show, Danny. Like the cream always rises to the top, and the best always have the same mentality. Number one, they study, they practice, and they're hungry and they're driven, and they kind of have that swag and just no fear, exactly. And you see that in a lot of the best athletes, whether it's you or
the opportunity, I will succeed.
Exactly. Whether it's you or Jordan or Johnny's dad or whatever sport or it is, it just the best guys always have that edge. And you definitely had that.
Hey, when did you realize that? When did you realize that you not just were good, but like you had this, you wanted to be one of the best at it? Because again, people are good. They just don't have that last level of kill almost, it seems. And that's what keeps them not practicing those last couple games or those last few spares or something. And they're good, but they're not the best.
I think, it goes back to when I played baseball. We won the league championship. It was little league, 7-9. We won that 3 years in a row. And, I loved playing baseball. I worked at it and, up till I was 12 years old, and then bowling took over. And that mentality was, I was never afraid of losing. But I knew that was part of any of the sports that I played. But if I didn't learn from losing, then I was failing. So, you're going to fail more than you succeed. I bowled 580 PBA tournaments, 112. That's not very good. But to win those 12, I had to learn from all those failures. That's just the way it is. And here comes my cat. What do you want, Tucker? Come here. He's out there crying.
Sacrifice to learn, though, too. You definitely sacrifice to learn, because that's another part that people, that's like they don't want to, they don't put the sacrifice in to learn, to figure it out. And
right. Exactly.
It's like that's why the cream rises to the top, because you won 12 titles, but so many people won 0. So many people bowled in a number of events, and so many people never qualified for events. Look at this.
My buddy, he's out there crying. But no, exactly. It's I don't know. It's one of those things where, you look at Walter Ray. I watched him
for my entire career. And it was just unfathomable what he could do. He could figure it out, me, on the other hand, I had to adapt, as I said, but I also studied and I learned about bowling balls and layouts and all. I said at both of my Hall of Fames, USBC and PBA, I said, I did most of this on my own. I had help along the way. Everybody needs that, coaches. And, I never read a book about the mental game. That's one thing that most people don't know. I learned from my failures. I never read a book. If I failed, why? I would have to figure that out. But I just looked at what I needed to do. How could I accomplish it? How hard do I got to work at? And like I said, my Hall of Fame speeches, I did most of this on my own. I've had one great coach that no matter what went down, how it went down, what I was going through, what I needed to change, we worked together. And Billy Hall is as much in my Hall of Fames, of my 6 Hall of Fames, he's right there with me because he's been with me since the first time he seen me back in, and I was terrible. In 86 or 87, I was bad. And he's, he'll tell you, I was not good. But that part in my mind, okay, what I need to change. And he'll tell you that. It was the first thing I asked him. I said, what do I need to do? He goes, and we talked about it, and, I wanted to learn. And I kept going. And that same thing with studying about bowling balls and layouts. I talked to ball reps. When I was throwing a lot of Brunswick stuff in the 90s and Hammers before that, and, Billy was with them. But I always wanted to know. I always wanted to learn. I always wanted to figure it out on my own and learn from my failures. That's just the way it was. Peabody, come here. Got another.
Not many have that fortitude to do it. That's why there's only a select few in the Hall of Fame, and that's why there's only a select few that win.
Well, exactly. But I also watched, how the game has changed. There was never any ball reps. In the mid 2000s, they changed the rule where they allowed the ball reps to help the players while they were bowling. That basically, and I was older at that time. That's kind of one of my pet peeves. I'm on my own dime. I'm older. I'm still competing, and now these younger guys have basically help from ball reps that are back there watching them. They're on staff. I'm not on any staff, and they're a step or two ahead of me. And I'm losing a hit or two a game. That bothered me, but they changed the rules. I had to adapt. I had to figure it out. So, I still won in 08 and made a couple shows and and all that. But it was tougher as I got older. And now I watch them. And it's like I just want to question them. How much do you know about ball motion, pin placements, cover stocks? Because the ball reps have helped, and that's their job, and they're paid by it, and I get it. That's what they do. But I always felt that to be a complete fresh professional, you had to know a little bit about everything, and I'm sure these guys do. And but it's like I wanted to learn from my failures, and that's just the way it was. And I don't know how I would do it today with the way that I see how they are, but that's just the way it is, and it's acceptable.
Johnny, do you remember your question?
I'm sorry, ramble.
No, it's fine. I know Johnny.
Dana warned you.
Johnny has a short memory.
So. Probably gonna die.
He's so clogged up with bowling ball info that he can't remember questions.
I thought I had it. Oh, yeah, I do have it.
That looked like from Dumb and Dumber.
Amazingly, I have it.
That's crazy.
Damn.
I got another buzzy. I got Mr. Peabody Butterbean.
Fuzzed out.
Mr. Peabody Butterbean. Look, there you are. Look, there you are. Oh.
Here's my last question for you.
That cat just hypnotized me right there.
I always try and put myself in situations like how would I feel if that happened to me? And there's 2 moments in your career that it was like a big moment for me, like, oh my God, did that really just happen? Like in front of my very eyes. And I'm picturing myself as you. Which one of these was more shocking when it happened? Joe Chacon completely whiffing the 2-5, or I'm going to go to the spark plug. When you were using the code red against Mike Edwards throwing the original blue Omega.
Yeah.
And you walled, and after he bowled 270, whatever the first game, he gets up and
276, I think.
Those first 2, he gets the first 2 in the 10th and finally leaves he leaves the double wood to lose 278 to 277.
Yeah.
Which one of those moments were you more like, just like what just happened? Is it really over? Did I really just win? I know it wasn't for the title against Eddie, and I was always curious. Go ahead.
Well, with Eddie, Mike Edwards, before we even started that match, we went, this is the battle of the hairdos. We were laughing our butts off about that. It was like he had to kill her mullet and then slick back and all that crap. He said, we should have tied one in overtime, I think is what it was. But we just tubed them because we blew them out early and they just got tubed and they were just, they were butter. Either one of us could have won that match. It was just my day. I got lucky. He forfeited. The Joey thing, to this day, I feel horrible about that.
It's hard not to, right?
Me, it's just hard. When you show that, it's just hard to watch. One of the things, the backstory on that was Fagan was struggling. I was pretty lined up. I struck a lot. I think a 4-pin or 2-pin or something like that. But I was good. And when he left that, I turned to Fagan and I said, Mike, I said, you had your chance. I let you finish for your first title. I said, he makes this, we tie it, I got it. That's exactly. I said, I got this, and then that happened. So I was ready. I was ready to get up and bowl the tiebreaker because I told Michael, I said, look, I've got 11 or whatever I had at that time. Yeah, 11. I said, you don't have one. I said, I'm giving you the opportunity to win your first title. You're going to finish the 10th frame. I don't care what the lane looks like. We're figure it out. I'm good, And he struggled on that lane. He didn't throw it super good. I don't know I don't remember, but I know that Joe got up and 8 counted, which was kind of a good shot, and then airballed it. Just your heart breaks when that happens. You don't ever want to see anybody do that. Make the spare tie, and then we go from there.
Absolutely.
So that was not a fun way to win, But I guess you could say it equals out because I've missed 10 pins to lose titles somewhere in a game, and but in that moment, that was just heartbreaking.
It kind of reminds me of Del Ballard just throwing it in the channel to lose. Nobody will ever forget that. That's just one of those moments that it's horrible. Like you never expect something like that to happen.
No, never. Now these guys, throwing up the middle, Del.
Yeah.
That was a year after. I think it was a year after I won. I think it was 91, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think so, yeah. And whenever you needed 1 pin or 9 pins to win, you would just throw it right down the middle lane. Yeah.
Absolutely. But, no question about that. I'm sticking my hand in my AMF angle from November 25th, 1983.
I had an angle.
It was my second 300 game, and it actually still fits.
God, I love that ball.
Black angle.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. And it says, America. Oh, gotta go this way.
I still remember the logo, too. Yeah, look at that.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
And look, there's a Contour power insert.
Contour. Let's go.
I
still got my hand in that. This thing's Jesus.
I didn't know they had.
I would use that.
I might
throw this tomorrow.
I didn't know they had plugs.
Exactly. Same thought process.
He's gonna post something on like his Facebook page, shooting 299 with this ball or something. I don't want to give him 300 just yet. I figure he's got to work up to it.
It's got a quarter reverse and a quarter right. That ain't happening. I'd lose that with my backswing anymore. I'm so old I can't hold on to crap. I'm like an 8 forward now. So
just no thumb it. You'll be all right.
Bring the True Star.
What?
Bring the True Star.
I have an undrilled UC2. 15-pounder too. I was going to draw it. I went, nope. Yeah, I got 4. I thought I only had 2 of them signature balls. I found 2 more of them. I got 4.
That's so
undrilled.
Cool.
And if anybody knows anybody has one of my signature balls that's 15, please let me know. I don't care where I'll buy it for whatever. I don't care. I want a 15-pounder. Just to throw it. I want to see what it does on, just on a house shot or something.
Well, I'd love to throw that ball too. Now that I'm like not 14 years old and completely and have no idea other than the ball's pretty. I'd actually like to throw that ball these days too.
We'll see if we can track one down
or not.
Huh?
You use your thumb and fingers or just fingers?
Just fingers, but I'm one-handed.
That's what I know. That's what I thought. Yeah, that's right.
As we wrap it up here, we got a couple of comments. George Christopher says, Mr. Wiseman, glad to see you're doing well. I stole your fashion wearing flame shirts at JBT's. That's
absolutely. I had some influence on some of these kids.
You did.
Legend lives on.
Did you ever roll the Fab nail, or was it before your time?
No, I had some of them. They were in the late 80s. I didn't use it on tour because a pink hammer came out, but I did have a nail that I did use as a spare ball at some point in time. I got rid of it. But it was a second. The pin was like 7 inches out, and I reversed it and it was weird. But it went straight. But yeah, I remember dumb stuff like that.
So you were never part of any staff, but obviously you like throwing hammers. Oh, you were? At one time you were?
I was.
Okay.
I was on Fun fact. Hammer, 1991 to 91, somewhere in 91 to early 95. Hammer. Then it came out with that resin ball in like 94, 95, and that's when I actually resigned, and then I drilled 13 balls in Windsor locks.
Nice.
After Long Island, I went down and unfortunately had to resign. I was on my own dime after that, and was from that period of time on. Never had a sponsor. The owner of that company, Dennis Baldwin, actually sponsored me, and I was on staff. And of course, I won 4 titles with his product, and the game changed when Reactive came out, and they were a little bit behind. And there was a couple guys on staff that were hurting, and I basically resigned, went to Windsor Locks, drilled 13 balls, used that code red, finished 3rd, lost to D'Entremont. Rest in peace, my friend. God, another one. And then won in Erie with that code red. And it was on my own dime. I had $3,000 in the bank, had 80 grand, and never had another sponsor. Where was I going with this? The fun fact thing. Oh, staff, Revolution Bowling. That was it.
Gotcha.
I was on Turbo staff early 90s, and then I'm still with Vice. They still work with me. It's been years since I've been with Vice, probably 18, 20 years or something, even though I don't bowl anymore. But I still, as you can see, that's the only bowling company I've been with. Revolution from fall 98 to early 02, I think. That was it. Everybody thought I was a no Rich, no. Storm, no. Yes, have the companies always been graceful, with working with me with equipment? Absolutely. Storm, when I won in 02 with at the Miller High Life, I went right from Revolution to Storm, and I threw different products in the 90s after Hammer, Brunswick stuff, and Ebonite. I threw all the companies. Made shows with probably every company. But yeah, everybody's been really cool and really, really great to work with, and yeah, it's been fun.
Were you excited when urethane made a comeback? Were you surprised?
I can't throw it. It's totally different.
Really?
It's a totally different look. Well, I can throw what I would say hybrid urethanes, like the UC3. I've got a pitch purple. I had a purple hammer. It's different. When I grew up, it was wood, urethane, the ball red early, and it just finished a little bit. These balls now, they want to get down the lane, and I'm looking for sideways like Reactive, and I don't have enough hand to get them to work. And but again, it's part of the environment of what's been created with the rev rates. So they can get these things they're actually logically. What they're doing is they're just cutting their angles down so they can strike. Because with Reactive, the balls are so violent, the balls, unless they're playing deep in and their angles are decreased.
They're making left turns almost, 90-degree angles almost, it seems.
They're smoothing their reaction out with their rev rate. That's why, Jesper and Buttriff and these guys with these high rev rates, they can throw, Belmo, obviously. They cut their angles down. They're playing like we did with Reactive straighter. It's
true.
It's common sense. If I had 500 RPMs, I'd be throwing urethane too because it would up. Now it's just I sand it with 320. It hooks at my toe and goes 60 feet. And if it's shiny, it never hooks.
The constant is the geometry of the pins. That's still the same.
They're
the same distance apart, the same number of pins, and That part hasn't changed.
But I mean, still got to be on board 17.7 or 6 or something to strike.
Yeah. But I mean, you can still throw 500 revs and still have a blower 710. I mean, it's just bowling. It's one of those sports, that just you throw. Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, do you think bowling will ever get into the Olympics? We had this discussion a few weeks ago.
I think it's always going to be hard because there's such an effect on the environment. It can be changed. It can be manipulated. It can be, there's so many varieties of things in our game, in our sport. You look at pole vaulting. There's a pole. There's a runner. There's a bend in the pole. I'm sure they've got it regulated.
Yep.
You look at look at running. It's a set amount of distance.
Yeah.
What can be manipulated in it? I mean, there's only certain things that they can manipulate. Bowling, you can dictate who wins. I mean, to a degree.
Right.
I mean, they used to do that. They've done it throughout the entire span of our from the 50s, 60s, 70s. There's I mean, you don't look at it that way, but you see things, and it is what it is. But can it be? Where there's no weight blocks, where there's no cores, where there's no oil, anything that can be manipulated. Think of any sport. There's regulations on. Yes, there's regulations in our sport, but name an Olympic sport. Look at how it's it's very minute of what can be manipulated. Our sport, you got everything.
You've answered pretty much how everybody answers, and it's the variables that are so out of control. Yeah, I mean,
they got break dancing in the Olympics. I mean,
I know.
Go spin on your head, Johnny. Come on, you're in.
And I
from the 80s, I'm good with that. I don't have a problem with that. I watched Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo.
I know, but I mean,
fantastic.
I know.
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you what. Here's another one. Don't be surprised if down the road, and because I play cornhole and they've regulated it, and everything is standard. I mean, yes,
100%.
humidity and air quality, just like lanes. The boards will get sticky, but that board's 4 feet long. The distance is 27 feet, front to front, 33 hole to hole, 6-inch hole, 6-inch bag, bag's 1 inch thick. The resin inside the bags can be manipulated in different shapes and sizes, but they're regulating that, and they have different materials for speeds, up and down the board. But it's getting to where, that could possibly beat bowling to it because there's very little manipulation you can do with it. You still got to make the shot. And that's what, and it's a competitive thing too. And it's gotten big. COVID basically, pushed that in the limelight, and it's actually fun. It's competitive, and there's a lot to it. But it could be in the Olympics. They're pushing for it.
I mean, it came close in the 90s. I mean, it was, it was real close to getting in. What if you did a lefties only group and a righties only group, and I don't know, just had the same kind of ball? Don't put oil in the lane, so there's no breakdown, and just have at it.
Yeah, well, then you'd have to change topography. The lane would have to be perfectly flat because topography still is dictative of anything in today's environment, even on, your now 20 and 30, 35, 40-year-old synthetic lanes. Billy Hall did an article back in the 90s, how particle balls were scratching up the surfaces of synthetics and, driving through the oil into the friction and creating a topography hell.
Right.
And you can see it in today's, game with when you bowl on these surfaces that are beat up synthetics. The mid lane blows out because where the ball flares.
Rob, you destroyed it with your swamp monster.
Yeah,
that's why Bradley Bowl's done.
And the Rhino Teal.
I love the swamp monster. I'm telling you, it's one of my favorite balls.
Oh my God,
Bowl's horrible.
The swamp monster. I remember that.
Johnny's going to go here in a second, Danny. So we're going to wrap up here. Absolutely.
Somebody's knocking at the door.
Yeah,
pizza.
It is time to eat.
No, somebody is home, but yeah, it's gym time. That's my weightlifting partner.
There you go.
It's gym night.
Well, Danny, we absolutely we appreciate you being here. I mean, it's an absolute treat to listen to your stories and to see your trophies and all that. And
anytime, it's fun. I enjoy it. And it's like this was. Hey, thanks for having me on because this is really the first time I haven't even posted this stuff on Facebook yet because I'm not done. I've still got, some things I need to get done, and I want to take pictures and tell the story. But anybody who watched tonight got to see
breaking news on Straight Up 5 with Danny Wiseman. Absolutely,
my life. It's been my passion in my life forever. And it still is. It always will be.
Yeah. I mean, we love watching you in the 80s and 90s, on ABC and the ESPN and all that. And again, I mean, speaking for Johnny as well, who's known you forever. But I mean, it's just
all the major networks. It's one of the things. I never made Fox because Fox came on after. Right. Here's another little fun fact. You ready for this? Sure. So I have all my shows. Dave Schroeder sent me, my list of all my shows, scores, who I won. I went through it. I don't know the exact numbers offhand, but I don't know. It's like 50-some shows, but some of them were specialty things. I think it was like 47 shows, regular shows. I never finished 5th.
Ever?
Really? 6th and 8th, 12 first, very few seconds, I think 5 or 6 seconds, a bunch of thirds, a couple of fourths, no 5ths. I just learned that. I was like, that's pretty wow. It's insane. I mean, the stuff you find out.
And it's also hard to win from number 1, too. I mean, it really is. I mean,
I had no problem.
Well, obviously you didn't. Obviously you didn't. But I mean, look at the stats overall. I mean,
great shots. They got to match me. Good luck.
That's true. I love it.
Right there. That's how you win, boys.
Well, we'd love to have you back one day, Danny. I'm sure there's a ton more questions that we all have for you. But
where can people find you? You said you're not on Facebook, really? You're not doing the Twitter gimmick?
I'm on Facebook. I just haven't had time to go on there.
You've been busy for the last,
Yeah, I mean, Dana posted we went to the Rolex 24 at the end of January. We were out there. She just posted on my page, but I haven't posted really much on there. I'll start messing with it a little bit more, but I've got my regular page, but the fan page, Danny Wiseman Bowling fan page on Facebook. I do have my website, Danny Wiseman Bowling, which I have not been on there, but there's still a lot of things from when I ran my youth scholarship tournament sponsors and all that fun stuff for the folks back in Maryland and East Coast to still support them because it might come back here sometime, maybe in the fall. There's discussion about it, but me being down here, I still have all my connections, and it's being talked about. So
you're not dormant. You're going to be active. That's what we want to hear.
I mean, I bowled a couple local tournaments down here. Actually, David O'Sullivan asked me in July when I was down here going back and forth, hey, you think you'll be ready to bowl by November? I haven't bowled in like 8 months. Well, it was 2 more months before I picked the ball up. I bowled like a month before. We bowled a team event, and it was me, Kenny Ryan,
Oh, yeah.
David O'Sullivan.
Danny, I don't know if you know that David was my college roommate at State.
Yeah. And then
that's great.
And then Dasha I can never say her name. Kovalova from Ukraine, and Ashley Galante. We were the only team with 2 females on it, and we ended up winning. and what's funny
those are 2 pretty badass ladies right there.
5 games, I think I was 4th overall. There was a bunch of guys in the singles part of it on Saturday. I think I walked out at like 2,500. It was like winning a regional. It was fun. I had a blast. And we had a great time, in the team thing. It's like it was different. I said, David, well, I guess I'm okay. I'm ready, I guess. And we had a good time. I bowled a couple singles events. Nothing really, just something to do. It's not a priority anymore.
Yeah.
And I, if I put money in the brackets and all that stuff, which I do, if I get out of it alive and make a little bit, but it's whatever. It's all fun now.
Well, I'm sure people love seeing Danny Wiseman walking the lanes like,
most people don't know me. Where's your flame shirt? They don't know me. I'm fat and gray now.
Oh, well, yeah, that's good. Well, yeah.
this is incognito.
He kind of looks like that one guy back in the
That's not the mullet guy, is it? That's the mullet guy.
Where's your mullet? Yeah, no. No, it's been fun because, when we moved down here and I go into Ormond Lanes and I go into this Thursday night league, there was like maybe 2 or 3 guys like they look like, what's he doing here? And then I've been down here a while, but I walk in the bowling centers and no one knew who I was. And it was like the oddest feeling because forever, even being out of it, but in Maryland, or East Coast, everybody knows, but
nobody knows who you are. And of course it would get around, and now it's, but it was neat. It was eerie, but neat,
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
That's cool. All right. Well,
anyway, Dana warned you I would ramble.
She did. No,
It's been perfect and wonderful.
Yes.
Well, my phone's on 30%, so.
All right. That's a good time to wrap it up. So, again, thank you, Danny, for being here. And
absolutely. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
And we'll keep in touch with you.
Johnny, message me on Facebook, will you, please? Just message me. I got it. Okay?
All right. Thanks, Danny.
Yeah, I don't know what he's saying.
He's muted. He muted himself again. Hey.
I said I will certainly message you on Facebook, and it's been a pleasure catching up. I miss you, my friend.
Yes, sir. You be good. Be well. Tell your mom and pop and your sister hi.
Sure will.
Yeah, great memories, bro. Great memories. So be good. Okay, you guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me share my world.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing your world.
Enjoyed it.
All right, Danny. We'll talk to you later. Thanks, man.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Well, that wraps it up for an amazing edition of Straight Up 5 here with Johnny Petraglia Jr., who's been fangirling all night long, as we all have.
Understandably so.
And sorry it went long, Johnny. I can't stop listening to the guy. Like, I could listen to him all night. I know, you got things to do, but that was so cool. I'm very, very happy that we were able to have him on. So
we caught him on Trophy Show.
Anytime you get the opportunity to take a celebrity in anything and bring them down to where we are and like introduce themselves and their world to us, it's always fun to see them.
That's what's cool. Level. He carried us through his life there, and you dictated everything. That was really cool about that.
And he seemed just as happy to show us as we were to watch it. So I mean, that was cool.
Like we said, it's a lifetime of dedication to a specific craft, and those are every one of those trophies is a memory that he will always have.
Yeah,
which is awesome. I mean, it's really, really awesome.
Absolutely. All right, guys, thanks for joining us tonight here on Johnny's Facebook page and our YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, it's Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr., and we will be back next week. Take care, guys.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. You can follow the show on Twitter at Straight Up 5 Pod. Follow Johnny Jr. at JPJR07. Follow Rad Rob at Rad Rob Gaming. And follow Dr. Ocho at the Dr. Ocho. Got a question for Johnny? Send your questions to straightup5podcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Right here on the Rad Rob Radio Network.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.